So if you haven't been paying attention, the United States currently has concentration camps in use at its southern border. Thousands of Latin American families are fleeing violence, largely helped along by U.S. intervention in the region, and are coming to the U.S. in hopes of pursuing the American dream. After taking the oftentimes 100-mile journey to get here, they end up separated from their children and thrown into cages at more than double or triple capacity, where they need to stand on toilets to get some breathing room and have limited to no access to showers. But instead of most people on the right getting mad about the fact that these concentration camps are currently in use, they thought it might be a better use of time to tone police and argue semantics, well, there are quite literally lives at stake. To help illustrate these people's complete and total misplaced anger, it is my absolute displeasure to present to you with this segment from the Fox News show, The Five.
Freshman Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez facing criticism after she made this comparison.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. The fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing. And we need to do something about it.
After Representative Liz Cheney criticized those remarks, Ocasio-Cortez doubled down.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I have a genuine question. Why the fuck does anyone take Liz Cheney seriously? Is it really only because her dad is Dick Cheney? I mean, unless she's completely denounced all of the heinous shit her father got up to in the Bush administration, I find it really hard to see why anyone would give a damn at all about what she has to say about this topic. But I guess in a red state, even name recognition from a war criminal can get you elected.
Tweeting, quote, "Hey, Representative Cheney, since you're so eager to educate me, I'm curious. What do you call building mass camps of people being detained without a trial? How would you dress up DHS's mass separation of thousands of children at the border from their parents?"
So I guess if we're gonna bring product of nepotism Liz Cheney into the conversation, we should at least take a look at the tweet that AOC is responding to here. Prompted by what we can safely assume is an entirely emotional response to AOC's correct use of the term concentration camp, Liz Cheney decided to reveal to us her absolute lack of historical knowledge by putting out the following tweet, quote, "Please AOC, do us all a favor and spend just a few minutes learning some actual history. 6 million Jews were exterminated in the Holocaust. You demean their memory and disgrace yourself with comments like this." Imagine my shock that the spawn of war criminal Dick Cheney, who famously dressed up the torture of brown people as enhanced interrogation, has decided to dress up concentration camps used to contain brown men, women, and children as detention centers. Apple must not fall far from the tree on this one. And if you really want to play the tone police game, Liz Cheney, I'll do you one better. 6 million Jews were murdered in the Holocaust. They weren't exterminated, they were murdered. The word exterminate is usually used in reference to things people consider to be subhuman or pests, at least according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition. And its use here could be seen as playing into the framing of the Nazis who were responsible for these despicable acts. You need to be a little more careful with your word choice here. P.S. The word can be used without this implication, just like the term concentration camp. This is where pedantry gets you. And while we're looking into the dictionary definitions of things, Merriam-Webster defines concentration camp as a place where large numbers of people, such as prisoners of war, political prisoners, refugees, or the members of an ethnic or religious minority, are detained or confined under armed guard. So it seems to me that, considering the camps at the border are used to detain large numbers of refugees and members of an ethnic minority under armed guard, they absolutely fit the definition. Terribly sorry if your feelings got hurt over facts. For more on this subject, check out my previous video going over this topic in a more structured format. That video also leads into another video I did summarizing how US intervention in Latin America creates the conditions that people flee from in the first place. Links are in the description. But anyway, back to this nonsense.
Dana, I just think it was a poor choice, a poor framing by Ocasio-Cortez that allowed, and she said, shrieking Republicans to blow back at her. But do you think that she has a point?
I think she loves the blowback.
Oh, you think?
This is like it's like her fuel.
I'm muted. It's all good. Listen, it was for the people in the live audience over there. It was an exclusive sneak peek into the following segments where the live audience that has populated the other side of this room are only able to hear it. So sorry about that. You have to pay extra to come to my house and hang out. To be fair, I'd love it too if the only argument you and your friends could give to my correct use of a term is pedantry and semantics as a means to justify the abuse and mistreatment of asylum seekers. You make it really easy to see who's on the right side of this fight, but please, go on.
Right? So she doesn't care what she says. I mean, that was a false and alarming, it was an alarming and false equivalence of the unparalleled evils of what happened in the Holocaust. She says never again in her, in the original comments. And then later she tries to say, well, no, that's actually not what I meant.
First of all, the Trump concentration camps on our southern border correctly match the dictionary definition of the term. Second of all, Waitman Wade, a Holocaust and genocide studies scholar, has said, quote, things can be concentration camps without being Dachau or Auschwitz, and goes on to say how the ones at the border match the definition. And third of all, Jewish activists have been protesting ICE detention centers across the country, many a part of the Never Again action movement. Only 6 days ago, an ICE guard drove his truck into a group of these peaceful protesters who were demonstrating outside of the Wyatt Detention Center. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm more inclined to take the word of Jewish activists who are actually putting their bodies on the line, rather than you, a person defending the reprehensible shit the Trump admin is doing from the comfort of that air-conditioned Fox News studio.
That can work for some people, and some people will defend you when you do that. But there's like 3 Democrats who are defending her. So I think that's when you know that you are out there on a limb, and then you're like Bugs Bunny, sawing off the end. I think that Pelosi, as the speaker, has a choice to make. Remember, they've had this several times. Like, are they going to try to get these younger members in check? I don't think so. I mean, because AOC she's her own phenomenon. And I don't think she minds at all the controversy. She just lets it roll right off her back. She doesn't mind that if what she's saying is a false equivalent. She doesn't care. It actually fuels her.
Nancy Pelosi, a prolific fundraiser from corporate donors, has no power over AOC and other Justice Democrats because she can't hold her fundraising against them. They got theirs. AOC and Justice Dems take no corporate and PAC money and instead raise funds through small dollar donations from grassroots supporters. That makes them beholden to those small dollar donors, aka regular people, rather than the corporate wealth that Nancy Pelosi gets her money from. This is why she repeatedly shits on members of her own Congress for actually advocating in the interests of regular people rather than the corporate donors she's beholden to. Even if she wanted to control them, and believe me, she desperately does, she can't. And quickly, AOC doesn't mind the controversy because there isn't one. It's manufactured by brainlit right-wingers and centrists like yourself and the rest of this panel.
Magazine editor, because Greg, she said she's really referring to an Esquire article in which the political editor said a concentration camp is not a death camp, not Auschwitz or Dachau, but, where you, as she said in the tweet there, where you simply separate and concentrate a group of people.
I mean, she's basically playing with words.
Nah, dog, that's what the fuck you and the rest of this panel are doing, because you have no better argument to justify the deaths of 6 migrant children in federal custody. But nice projection.
How great is it that she's referring to Esquire magazine for her expertise on what a concentration camp is? That's called the media loop. That's right. So she refers to Esquire, and then Esquire refers back to her, and they just sit there. It's just a self-referential massage.
My dude, the only circular massage going on here is the one you guys do the minutes before the 5 goes live, where you each rub your collective 10 brain cells together to try to form any kind of coherent argument to present to your boomer audience. I hate this smug fuck. He's like a masterclass on how to try way too fucking hard to make what you're saying sound correct, while at the same time being wrong about literally everything that falls out of your shit-eating mouth.
Here's a question. Who's a bigger expert on anti-Semitism, AOC or Israel?
I don't know, who's a bigger expert on human rights violations, a crackdown on free speech, and the expansion of illegal settlements into Palestinian land? The right-wing Netanyahu government, or... No, it's just the right-wing Netanyahu government. Never mind.
Because right now she's criticizing Trump, right? Basically, that's what she's doing. Israel just named a town after Trump, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's not Cortez Heights. It's Trump Heights. Case closed. I mean, what she did, this is a measure of character. Look, she's a bomb thrower. Trump's a bomb thrower. She's got a talent. But the fact is, the talent has to be how to do it correctly, and she's got to own up to her mistakes. Yep. She made a mistake. Unless she thinks like concentration in concentration camp means thinking really hard.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't mean that. It means a place where large numbers of people, such as prisoners of war, political prisoners, refugees, or the members of an ethnic or religious minority, are detained or confined under armed guard. You seem to imply that AOC shouldn't have used the term out of respect for those who suffered during the Holocaust, yet here you are making a bad joke at the expense of something as evil as concentration camps. Truly disrespectful behavior.
It doesn't mean that. And by the way, buried in all of this is she has no solution for these temporary encampments, which, by the way, Obama had as well and used the same place, which is...
What? Wow. Jesus Christ, I'm pretty sure this guy just made a mess of his pants with that Obama statement. Yeah, Obama's immigration policy was absolute dog shit. This is literally only a gotcha against Democratic Party loyalists who are about as dumb as you are. AOC and others do have a solution for the disaster at the border: a pathway to citizenship, amnesty, the abolition of ICE in favor of border agents who don't think of asylum seekers as subhuman, humane facilities that can actually accommodate the hygiene needs of those detained within them, the ceasing of U.S. intervention in the Southern Hemisphere that create the conditions that people flee from in the first place. The list goes on.
If you don't have a place to put these people, then they just come right in. So you're basically saying you're for no borders. If you're against just the temporary holding, and it's so mean to the people who work with the people, the agents. I mean, are they concentration camp guards?
Oh, that AOC. She won't stop hurting our feelings. Oh, who will think of the concentration camp guards? Notice how this guy is showing more sympathy for the perpetrators of these heinous crimes being committed at our border rather than the victims. Very telling, very sad.
Is that what you're inferring? I'd like to see her apologize. She should person up.
The subtle anti-SJW joke, by the
Emily,
way. Very nice.
The president tweeted overnight in advance of today's rally that there's going to be a mass deportation effort led by a large number of agents in the next week. Apparently, ICE was surprised by this. We know that Kirstjen Nielsen and Ron Vitale, the former ICE director, both were reluctant to do this. That's why they were forced out. But how does this fit into what Ocasio-Cortez is talking about? Because it does instill fear in the immigrant community.
I don't know how it fits in, other than she is failing at her job, which is if she has an issue with a policy that she inherited as a lawmaker, then get off live stream and start drafting a bill. Then change that policy, because my tax dollars are paying your salary and you should earn that dollar.
Somehow doing live streams as a politician to directly connect with the people who support you is a bad idea, even though you're literally paid to sit on your ass and regurgitate whatever talking points Fox News will allow you to use. AOC has been fervent in her support for a pathway to citizenship, the abolition of horribly corrupt ICE, anti-interventionism in Latin America. None of this fucking matters unless AOC puts forward a bill that the president under no circumstances will ever sign. You're telling her to work to change policy, but whenever she does that, it enrages you and every other Fox News panelist who's paid to propagandize for the wealthy. If she did put forward this bill, you'd still shit on it like you do all the others she's introduced to help average Americans. Apparently, AOC raising awareness of the horrible conditions asylum seekers endure in the border camps during her off hours is a big no-no for Emily. And about the my tax dollars are paying your salary part, more than half of the United States discretionary budget that your and everyone else's tax dollars go to is to our overbloated military that Fox News throats on a daily basis. I mean, unless you have the money to be able to dodge your taxes or enjoy the $1 trillion tax cut the wealthy got under the Trump administration, then I guess you shouldn't be too worried about it.
The policy of ICE after a final order of deportation is such that within 90 days, they institute removal proceedings. And unless the subject voluntarily basically leaves on their own, they actually have no duty to do so. It is ICE's duty to come within 90 days and institute those removals. And you basically get a letter in the mail and it says, meet here at this time, and it's kind of like a self-surrender.
What in the hell is you talking about? It's so sad that we're 5 minutes in and 3 people into the 5, and this is the closest thing you could even begin to consider as some sort of an argument. I don't know if there's ever been a clearer case of word salad than this. Like, this is truly a low-calorie meal. I'm going to attempt to decode the hieroglyphics here. She says, the policy of ICE after final order of deportation is such that within 90 days they institute removal proceedings. This is kind of coherent. I assume what she's trying to say is that it is ICE's policy to remove someone within 90 days of a final order of removal. There's just some extra words thrown into her statement for whatever reason. She then goes on to say, and unless the subject voluntarily basically leaves on their own, they actually have no duty to do so. The they actually have no duty to do so part is the confusing thing here. I'm pretty sure it's just a useless sentence fragment that somehow found its way into this sorry excuse for a point. Removing that, I assume she's talking about the option those who have received a final order of removal have to self-deport, meaning they can take it upon themselves to go back to the insecure conditions that they originally left, rather than being taken into ICE custody and violently ejected from the country. Following this, she says, it is ICE's duty to come within 90 days and institute those removals, and you basically get a letter in the mail and it says meet here at this time, and it's kind of a self-surrender. I think what she's talking about here is Form I-166, or bag and baggage letters. These demand a person report to a local ICE facility at a particular time and date so that they can be deported. I think she brings all of this up to kind of polish the pile of shit that is ICE's deportation proceedings, but I honestly can't be too sure given how incoherent her statement was. It's also likely she brings this up to completely sidestep the absolutely atrocious conditions of the Trump concentration camps. I don't know if she's a regular host or just a contributor, but she's literally paid an upwards of $50,000 to show up and give this minute-and-a-half rambling take that could have been said in 30 seconds, but hey, easy money, I guess.
She has an issue with that too, then why don't you change it? Why don't you garner some type of collective, cogent agreement on the Hill rather than loving your live streaming and not knowing what you're talking about and making inflammatory false equivalencies that are horrendously offensive?
Just change it. Have you considered that maybe by effectively utilizing social media to raise awareness of the issue, she's working to put pressure on her fellow members of Congress to do just that? This is very basic voter outreach and activism. I don't think I need to go over again why AOC's classification of the camps at our border is correct and inoffensive, but I mean, you tried your best to sound like the smart person of the group here. On a Fox News panel, that's really not hard, and somehow you still failed.
By the way, Jesse, you know, Emily makes a really good point. I think I saw in the polls that 70+% of Americans think the Dreamers should be allowed to stay. 60% say the way that we can deal with the border is to just have more border agents, more judges. What do you think?
Well, I think 100% of Americans don't agree with AOC that we're running concentration camps.
I mean, those familiar with the actual definition of the term do. Jewish activists, many a part of the Never Again Action movement, do. Experts on the subject, Waitman Wade, a Holocaust and genocide studies scholar, and Andrea Pitzer, who wrote the popular book One Long Night, A Global History of Concentration Camps, do. But I guess they don't get paid to put lipstick on a pig like you.
And she's becoming more extreme because she's running out of steam.
Running out of steam, yet she's one of the most popular members of Congress in the country. Okay.
Want to compare anything to the Holocaust. It diminishes the genocide and makes you look stupid.
The only people comparing the camps to those used in the Holocaust are misinformed people like you. If you're talking about her Never Again comments, there's literally a Jewish activist group called Never Again Action, and Holocaust survivors seem to say that this is an appropriate time to use that phrase. But I guess you know better than them.
She's only doing this because she doesn't have a real solution. Only thing she's offered. She wants to abolish ICE.
Good.
She says global warming's pushing the migrants north.
Climate change along with instability brought on by U.S. intervention, but go on.
And she says we're running concentration camps.
The U.S. is.
She's a member of Congress. We forget sometimes because she sounds like a bomb thrower on cable. She can do something. She hasn't sponsored one piece of legislation at all. And now she's backpedaling and trying to distinguish between it's a concentration camp versus a death camp. She's really losing this issue.
She sounds like a bomb thrower on cable. You literally cream yourself anytime President Trump throws bombs on Twitter and when he literally drops bombs on innocent brown people in the Middle East, but she can't throw verbal bombs of her own? Wonder why that is. Also, there is a big difference between concentration camps and death camps. Death camps are the ones that intentionally kill people and are typically one of the next steps after concentration camps. She never called them death camps. That's what dumb fucks like you insinuate.
She's dragged her party so far to the left on impeachment.
Firstly, good. I hope she drags them further left. Secondly, emoluments clause. Funny how he says she's dragging Democrats to the left on impeachment when right-wingers literally impeached a president for getting a blow in the Oval Office and lying about it.
On global warming and on the border, some of these positions nationally that she's taken them to are unelectable. And she's been sparring with Pelosi. Her best friends have been accused of anti-Semitism.
I really wish I didn't have to pause this much, but this guy just rapid fires off the dumbass statements. It seems like if a right-wing pundit ever tells a Democrat to do anything, that Democrat should just do the opposite. I don't know why these people think we take their words of advice seriously. Most Americans are for immigration reform. Most Americans are for substantial action to combat climate change. Most Americans love Medicare and support Medicare for all, etc., etc. Nobody but people in the DC bubble care that she's been fighting with Pelosi. In fact, many people in the circles I run in love that shit. And her best friend Ilhan Omar has been wrongly accused of anti-Semitism because of out-of-context tweets regarding the corrupting influence of money in politics. But nice try, buddy.
Yes, on the whole, maybe she offers a lot of youth enthusiasm, fundraising, fresh glamour, perhaps. But on balance, I don't think she's been beneficial to the Democrat Party.
Greg, to your point, the vice president of the National Border Patrol Council invited her personally, Art Del Cueto, said, please come down. I will tour you around these facilities. I think she should take him up on that, and then she should live stream it. Let's hear her thoughts, you know, at the same time.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Let's see that. Exactly.
She won't go.
All right. Well, I think a lot of people have trouble on the Democratic side with the way people are treated at the border.
She did end up going to the Trump concentration camps, and she found out that the conditions were about as bad as what had been described, and in some instances worse. I find it so fucking funny that this show is literally called The Five. These people are like a stupid-ass Exodia, each of them contributing a body part to form like Voltron and provide some of the dumbest fucking takes known to man. Like, how do you get 5 people in a room and have none of them contribute anything of substance to a topic? It's wild to me that these people are paid as much as they are. Fuck's sake, does it pay well to be a right-wing propagandist? I might actually have to reconsider my line of work. Thanks so much for watching this segment from episode 1 of the Conure Report. This week's Conure Call-Out is Space Pirate 3. I appreciate the support. Hope you enjoy your tier 1 sub to my Twitch channel. If you'd like to be the next episode's Conure Call-Out, follow me on Twitter at ConureCC and retweet my video links when they go live. Don't forget to like this video. To the right of me is the link to subscribe to the channel and follow at ConureCC on everything. Love y'all very much.